Charlotte, I've heard from a couple people who are looking for the link. I've sent it to them. So just, so you know, you've got a couple more people coming on.
Okay.
Smatic is one.
I see Shelby. Yeah, let me make sure. It should be posted on the website. Yeah, I figured, John, we'll give folks another couple minutes, I guess.
Yeah, well, let's.
Yeah, the link is online. If people can't, if they say it's on our website, if they can't find it.
Got it.
Yeah, actually, I think that's where I downloaded it from, was off your website.
Yeah, it would have been a gorgeous day to have lunch in Annapolis, you know, maybe next year.
I don't think we can squeeze 80 people into the potato factory.
Nah, I think that place is a little small. Would have been nice to try though.
Yeah, it would have been nice.
Here's the next,
All right.
next bad joke.
Okay, I see Scott Warner on the list here. Does that mean we can start?
You're a funny man.
Well, I guess we could go through who's here, and while we're waiting, if folks want to, I guess, introduce themselves, go around. Do you want me to read through the participants?
Yeah,
who are
why don't you go ahead and do that? That's a good idea,
Okay.
especially if we have any of our new members here.
Yeah, why don't we have staff? So I'm Charlotte Davis, Executive Director of the Rural Maryland Council. Megan, do you want to go?
Sure. Hello, I'm Megan DRC. I'm the Program Administrator with the Rural Maryland Council.
Cody?
Well, I'm Cody Matthews. I'm the Program Coordinator with the Rural Maryland Council.
Hi, I'm Amanda Clevenger. I'm the Administrative Assistant with the Rural Maryland Council.
Great. So who we-
Hi, I'm Jane Terry from the Maryland Horse Council. Hello,
Hi,
everyone.
Jane. Thanks for joining us. Let's see, Alice Settle Raskin, Greg Padgham.
Greg Patcham, the Executive Director for the Tri-County Council for the Lower Eastern Shore.
Oh, this participant list is changing on me. Cheryl DeBerry.
Hey, I'm the Broadband and Energy Manager for Garrett County.
Thanks for joining us. Chris Casalemas.
Good afternoon, Chris Castanemis, Director of Economic Development for St. Mary's County, representing St. Mary's, Charles, and Calvert.
Thanks for joining us today. Let's see, Cindy Stone.
Hi, I'm Cindy Stone. I work at the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development, and I'm the Director of the Community Development Block Grant Program.
Let's see, Lee Jones is one of our speakers. Let's see, Erica Joseph. Introduce yourself. Oh, she's on mute still. Gretchen Hardman, Governor's Office.
Hi, Charlotte. I'm Gretchen Hardman. I'm from I'm the Southern Maryland Liaison to Governor Hogan's office. Nice to be here.
Then from Eastern Shore, Grayson Middleton.
Hi, Grayson Middleton, Eastern Shore Liaison for the Governor.
Holly Porter.
Hi there, I'm Holly Porter. I'm the Executive Director of the Delmarva Chicken Association.
Let's see, Jinhee Kim. Dr.
Hi,
Kim.
Jenny Kim with the University of Maryland Extension.
John Hickman.
Hi, John Hickman with Beacon at Salisbury University. Good to see everyone.
Thanks for joining us. Hey, Jonathan Dayton, we got from Maryland Rural Health Association. You want to say a few words?
Of course.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jonathan Dayton, the new Executive Director of the Maryland Rural Health Association. I'm happy to be here.
Julie Webke.
Hi, Julie Webke with the Maryland Department of Commerce.
Kathy Gugalis. She's on mute. Kurt
Sorry,
Phillips?
I'm Kathy
Okay.
Gugalis. I'm running for delegate for the Maryland General Assembly in LD 14, and I'm happy to be here to hear what your issues are.
Great. Thank you for joining us.
Kurt Fuchs, Senior VP of Government Affairs for Mid-Atlantic Farm Credit. Good afternoon, everyone.
See ya. Laura Wilson. Good to see you.
Hello, good to see you. It's Laura Wilson with the University of Maryland Shore Regional Health at Chestertown. I'm the Director of Rural Healthcare Transformation.
Lucia Walker.
Yes, hi, everybody. I am Lucille Walker. I'm the Executive Director of the Southern Maryland Heritage Area. We're also known as Destination Southern Maryland. I'm also here as a chair of the Maryland Heritage Area Coalition for 13 heritage areas. Thank you.
Matt Defoe.
Matt Defoe, Government Affairs for Chop Tank Electric Cooperative. I just want to take this time to say happy birthday to Melissa Kelly.
Thank you, Matt.
I second that.
Got Melissa Bolliard.
Hi, I'm Melissa Bolliard from Garrett County. I am the Ag Business Specialist for our county.
Thanks for joining us. Mindy Burgoyne.
Just as I turned off my camera to walk over there. I'm Mindy Burgoyne. I am from the Maryland Department of Commerce, and I cover the lower 4 counties of the Eastern Shore for commerce.
Sarah Seitz.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sarah Seitz, Maryland State Office of Rural Health. We're based at the Maryland Department of Health. Good to see you.
See you. Scott Warner.
Scott Warner with the Midshore Regional Council.
Sean Perry.
Hi, I'm Sean Perry. I'm a candidate for the District 2 Senate seat, and I'm here to see what's going on.
Thanks for joining us. It says Shelby Watson Hampton.
Hi, Shelby Watson Hampton, Southern Maryland Agricultural Development Commission, known as SMATIC.
Steve Bolin.
I think it's good afternoon, everybody. I'm Steve Bolin. I live in Howard County, and I'm running for delegate in District 9A. And thank you, Charlotte, for the link to today's meeting. Look forward to listening and learning.
Thanks for joining us. Tony Thacker.
Yes, good afternoon. Tony Thacker with Nestlo Corporation, also living in Howard County, and an RMC beneficiary.
Vanessa Hoffman.
Hi, yeah, I'm running for Congress in Maryland's 5th District.
Welcome. Rita Stocker.
Hi, I'm Rita Stoker. I'm with the Maryland Department of Agriculture. I run the Farmers Market Nutrition Program that provides checks to purchase fresh fruits and vegetables to low-income WIC and seniors over 60 and above, and work with the farmers markets.
Good to see you. I thought I had Yolanda Hipsky.
Hi, everybody. My name is Yolanda Hipsky. I am the Regional Transit Coordinator for the Tri-County Council for Southern Maryland, and I am here to hear more about non-emergency medical transportation.
So Lindsay Thompson.
Good afternoon, everyone. Lindsay Thompson. I work with a variety of agricultural organizations, and I am the chair of the co-chair of the legislative committee with Chris Benzing for RMC.
I see Jianing Zhang, please, please excuse my pronunciation.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Dr. Jenny Zhang. I'm running for state delegate in District 9A. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And did I get everybody? Melissa Kelly.
Hi,
Excuse me.
good day, everybody. Melissa Kelly with United States Senator Chris Van Hollen's office. And for knowledge, I have also added Hartford to my entire Eastern Shore portfolio. So if we're Hartford County folks, feel free to reach out or I'll reach out to you.
Somebody with Genevieve with their hand raised.
Hi, I'm Genevieve Croker. I'm the Executive Director of Rebuilding Together Kent County.
Great. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Charlotte, I'm Dave from Comptroller Francho's office.
Oh, great. Awesome.
You had called my name earlier. My name is Alice Settle Raskin. Alice is Agri Maryland, promoting Maryland's agriculture with pride, and I'm here in Western Howard County.
Carmela Watkins.
Yes.
We're just introducing ourselves.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Carmela Watkins with Ivy and Pearls of Southern Maryland Community Charities. I'm sorry, I was just logging in.
No problem. Sorry to catch you off guard. I see Darlene Taylor there. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure.
Oh, you put yourself on mute.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I was unmuted. Thank you. I'm Darlene Taylor, and I'm the Executive Director for It Takes a Village to Help Our Children down in Crisfield, Maryland. We're working on building a new youth facility, and we're a wonderful grantee, a grateful grantee from the Rural Maryland Council.
I see Erica Joseph has got their hand raised.
Hi, Charlotte. I might have missed you earlier if you called on me. Erica Joseph, Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore. Good afternoon, everyone.
Thanks for joining us. I have a Christina.
I'm just honestly joining from St. Mary's County. I'm just a citizen. I'm just kind of concerned about all the development lately since I've moved back here. So I just figured I'd join this, see what this is about. Not sure if it's what I'm looking for, but here I am.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
I think I saw Steve McHenry.
Yes, good afternoon. Steve McHenry, Executive Director with Marbitco. Great to be here.
Susan O'Neill.
Hi, it's Susan O'Neill with the Upper Shore Regional Council.
AC Alray.
Hi, I'm AC Alray, Business Development Manager with Dorchester County. 4 months on the job, so I'm here to take it all in. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. And I have a phone number, 410-440-0647. You could just introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. This is Dan Ryder. I volunteer as the president of the Rural Maryland Foundation. My job is I work for DNR Forest Service, concentrating on private commercial interests and opportunities with forestry. And I'm sorry, we're interviewing today for a couple open positions, and I'm going to drop off at 12:30.
Thanks for being here. Did I get everybody? I didn't introduce them. Oh, Rosanna Vogt.
Yes, I'm Rosanna Vogt, the founding director of the Circle of Angels Initiative, and I also serve on the Rural Maryland Foundation board.
All right. Did I get everybody? Oh, Ruthie. Hi there.
Hi there. Good afternoon. Ruthie Davis with the Tri-County Council for Southern Maryland. I'm the Director of Regional Workforce and Business Development. It's Friday.
Thanks for being here. So last but not least, the RMC chair, John Hartline.
Oh, thank you, Charlotte. And I want to welcome everyone. This is, I think, one of the largest groups that we've had in attendance for one of our virtual meetings. And it's been a great legislative session. We've had a lot of activity. We've got a lot of additional funding that you'll be hearing about in a few minutes. Today, we're going to start out with some guest speakers. We've chosen 3 to reach out to you today to talk about their projects and their funding they've gotten through RMPIF. The first one we have today is from the United States Bomb Technology Association. Sean Dennis, the president CEO. Sean, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Thank you for having me.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to try to share my screen. I apologize if I'm a little technology challenged. Let me see if I do this right. Can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
Wow, I actually did it the first time. So that's actually, I'm on a good path right now. Again, I want to thank the Rural Maryland Council for this opportunity to brief everybody who's on here. We're a newer organization that was based out of Denver, Colorado, that just recently moved to Indian Head, Maryland. And the support from the state, the county, and the town has just been phenomenal. And the RMC, Rural Maryland Council, has been very instrumental in our support in establishing our facility there in Indian Head. If I go right here and start, so I'll give you a quick overview on the U.S. Bomb Technician Association, because I know there's a lot of folks on here who really are still learning who we are. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization founded in 2016, as I'd mentioned, in outside Denver, Colorado. How we formed was a bunch of military and public safety bomb technicians got together in 2014, 15, and did our due diligence to evaluate regarding a very unique, specific issue that arises not just internationally, but domestically when it comes to improvised explosive devices and the technology and the training associated with that and how important it is. So after, again, due diligence, getting with different folks out there in the, when I say community, our FBI, ATF, DOD, DHS partners, we realize that organization, and it's only the only of its kind. There is no other organization like us in the country at a national level that we formed. And we're very excited about what we have managed to do. And our focus has been looking at technology gaps, training gaps, and educating, informing our congressional leaders, both at the state, local, and federal level, which we always felt that was an issue. We always had a joke about our bomb technician community as break glass if needed. Otherwise, don't come out, because obviously when the bomb squad comes out, it does get people a little anxious, understandably so. So we are always trying to, only come out there when we need to, but we thought that was a hindrance because we're not really educating and informing our leaders out there at all different levels about who we are, why we exist, and some of the initiatives that we need assistance with. Again, I'll go this really quick because our supporting relationships, as many people could see on the slide here, is our FBI, research, development, test, and evaluation. We have a great relationship with there. A matter of fact, I'll talk a little more about them in the next slide here, but our relationship with them is starting to form where they're looking at bringing a couple of their programs to Indian Head, Maryland, in that Southern Maryland area, which is pretty big news for us internally. And I think it will for the Southern Maryland area because of the fact FBI is a big broad spectrum, and know that they may bring a couple of their advanced training programs to our facility is just a big factor for us right now. So we're really excited about that. Then we got the Department of Homeland Security with the different groups with the Office for Bombing Prevention and the Science Technology Directorate. Again, another what's exciting about them is the fact that they have we have signed some agreements with them, and they too will be establishing some kind of presence. We're still working on what that looks like, but also in Indian Head, Maryland. So with the FBI, the DHS Science Technology Directorate, and the Cybersecurity Infrastructure, CISA, with Office of Bombing Prevention, all providing some kind of presence there in Southern Maryland, which is now sort of what our hope is, creating that area become a sort of a mecca for the technology, research, development, and test and evaluation of improvised explosive devices, equipment, and tools. Some of the other relationships that we currently have, and we have been really spearheading this when I mentioned about the educating our leadership. at the state and local level, which we work really hard to, but at the federal level. So you can see the different committees that I have many opportunities, especially over the last couple of years, even with the pandemic, to have meetings with the armed services committees, Homeland, Judiciary, the different appropriation committees. I've had the opportunity to really sit down and explain what our mission is, but any support that we can provide to our government, which has been received very well. And our team, we spend a lot of time working with those different committees to help educate and inform and be more of a resource for them of what's happening around the country. So we're excited about being involved in that kind of aspect. And then you can see the Department of Defense here, some of the initiatives that we have. The Joint DoD, obviously the Naval Service Warfare Center to Indian Head. That was one of the biggest reasons why we did come to Indian Head and move in our headquarters and operation there, because everybody knows they do a lot of research on technology development and a lot of training on the new technologies that are out there. And since our focus is identifying those gaps in the technology side, it just made perfect sense. And knowing the support from the command there in the town, the county, and the state has just been, again, beyond phenomenal. Last slide here before I get into what, the assistance that the state and the Rural Maryland Council has provided to the U.S. Bomb Technician Association. I wanted to show we are a 501c3. So other than doing the research, training, and development of things, we also work with different organizations that provide assistance to Gold Star families and to provide assistance to bomb technicians who have been severely injured or unfortunately have lost their lives, that we support the families with different initiatives. To give an example of a few of them, from the fires in California to the hurricanes in the panhandle of Florida to the tornadoes that happened through Tennessee a while back. We're there to provide quick funding to those families and bomb technicians who needed it. So we're pretty excited about that. And then the academia. We had a great relationship with the University of Denver, but coming to Maryland, we have an MOU signed with the College of Southern Maryland, and we're now working on a phenomenal relationship with the University of Maryland to look at probably some STEM programs. We're looking at, which, by the way, the STEM programs has really got us engaging pretty hard. We were really excited about how we as an organization could really assist with that. But with the MOU with the College of Southern Maryland and the University of Maryland, looking at internship programs, looking at, since we are such a unique organization, if you will, when you talk about explosives and bomb technician stuff, but we have chemists, we have physicists, we have structural engineers, mechanical engineers. So it's a field that a lot of educators sometimes don't realize that we really exist, and how we do need those expertise to assist us in future development to counter the bad guy from doing bad stuff. And so having these kind of relationship with the College of Southern Maryland and the University of Maryland has just been phenomenal, and it's growing almost seems like weekly. And just recently, we have formed a $5,000 scholarship with the College of Southern Maryland to provide scholarships for students who want to go into those fields that I would just mentioned. So we're just working with CSM right now on a $1,000 scholarships for those who are going to be attending the CSM, whether it be a trade school or whether it be actually attending one of the programs there. We want to be part of that kind of initiative. So again, we're excited about that. One thing, the last couple of slides I want to go over is because this is where the Rural Maryland Council has been instrumental in this development and instrumental in really helping us kickstart the U.S. Bomb Technician Association, not just coming to Southern Maryland, Indian Head, but for the fact that helping, as you can see, October 12, 2020, right before we signed our agreement, you can see this was an old CVS pharmacy that, from what I've been told, has been sitting empty and vacant like this for almost 20 years, just outside the gates there on the 210 corridor, outside the gates of Indian Head, Naval Service Warfare Indian Head. So when we decided to look at an opportunity to come here, again, working with the state, RMC, working with the Military Alliance Council, the county, the town, again, it just having meeting after meeting to explain what our vision was. And for those who will see this picture right now, when I went back to my boards, I'm one of the co-founders and the president of the U.S. Bomb Technician Association. So when I went back to my board to present this, they looked at me going, "You want to do what?" So with this building here, but thanks to a lot of folks there in Maryland, really helped us with this vision. So you can see how this facility here is, helping, these funds that we were able to receive from RMC helped renovate this existing building that, again, was sitting for almost 20 years, not being used. As you can see, on November 17th, 2021, it was coming together. The development was phenomenal. A lot of this infrastructure, a lot of what you see here was due to the assistance of Rural Maryland Council. And so this is exciting because now we took what you saw on the previous slide, a building that was falling apart, to now making something pretty beautiful, pretty cool looking, and how it's going to be utilized to really not just at a state level, but at a national level, where this will be, and I'm using the FBI's terminology, a center of excellence for the entire country for research, development, and test and evaluation regarding the tools and equipment needed for bomb technicians for around the country. So we're really excited about how this is really coming together. And the last slide is pretty much, what it's looking like right now. That is the final product of what these funds helped with. And it's coming together. This is, again, 18 months, almost 19 months, a lot of hard work by a lot of people, and knowing how this has come together has really put the U.S. Bomb Technician Association not just on the map, but as a leader in this field that we're looking about. So we're excited how this looks. And then the last, I apologize, is I wanted everybody to see how this breakout, because from looking from the outside it looks great, but from the inside, I wanted everybody to see from RMC and the folks that are on here is the different offices, the classrooms, the warehouse. Everything in here was designed around research development, test and evaluation, and training. And this is going to be again, state-of-the-art, very unique facility. And with our MOUs with the College of Southern Maryland and our partnerships building with the University of Maryland, this is going to really turn out to be a lot of activity. You can see on this slide here is we now have 7 companies that from the outside have now officially signed on, are engaged to be at this facility. And we have another 5 more that signed on, or at least we're in conversation with right now to establish themselves on that 210 corridor. So if we get all the other 5 companies, we'll have 11 different companies that are now from outside Maryland wanting to establish themselves here on that 210 corridor. And we feel pretty excited knowing that our relationship with CSM, the town, the county, and the state on many levels, we're bringing in a lot of activity to support not just the base, but all the different infrastructure that's on that 210 corridor. So knowing that this is starting to really come together is pretty exciting. What I'll do is I'll end it with is that, everybody on this, please, on May 13th, we are having our ribbon cutting ceremony, grand opening for all folks to be there. We're sending out the invites, started yesterday through this week and next week. We hope everybody can be there because this wasn't just a USPTA project. If there was ever an example of showing how everybody coming together to make something happen, to me, this would be the poster child for that. Knowing between all the different levels in the state, the county, the town, the military base there, and our federal partners. I mentioned the EOD caucus, which is a bipartisan representatives who are very supportive of our initiatives. They've come down to Indian Head to look at our facility. We've given them tours, and they're extremely supportive of this endeavor, being, of course, 35 minutes outside the Capitol. So the limelight on just a national level, not just a state level, is really putting a lot of brightness on the town in Southern Maryland. So I would hope that everybody can come out on May 13th, about 9 a.m. till about noonish. We're going to have a great ceremony and recognize and welcome all the partners in this endeavor. So I apologize. I meant to only talk for 5-10 minutes and I talk a lot. So I apologize, but I'll end it if anybody has any questions for me. Okay.
Well, I want to say thank you, and it really is. I've lived in Charles County for 34 years now, and Indian Head has been backsliding for some time, but it really is a community that's on the move. The RMC has supported the Velocity Center, which is directly across the street from your center. And I was at the event that they had a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of people are interested in coming to Indian Head. So Indian Head has gone from kind of a sleepy sliding town to someplace that everybody wants to be. And we thank you for putting some real effort in making this to be a center for excellence for the whole United States.
Thank you very much.
Are there any questions? Okay, we have a second speaker. Thank you very much. We have a second speaker from Allegheny College of Maryland, David Jones, Vice President of Advancement and Community Relations, Executive Director of ACM Foundation. Charlotte, do we have the?
Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
you
you
for the
David.
privilege to be here, John. Thank you for the honor. Can you see my screen that I've shared? It has the Rural Maryland Council and ACM and the logo on it. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, hello from Western Maryland. We like to call it Mountain Maryland here. I did have to scrape my windshield this morning. So for those of you that are jealous, I'd be glad to share any of that with you at any time. But it's real good to be here today. See so many other Allegheny County residents, Bill, and Jonathan, and many others. Glad you could be here today as well. For those of you that are not aware, Allegheny College of Maryland is a 2-year public community college located in Western Maryland, center of Allegheny County in Cumberland. We consider ourselves as an anchor institution as a Maryland community college for both education and workforce development and the training that we provide, and a real privilege to do that. And I think sometimes when you look at our mission, there's such an alignment between what we do and what the Rural Maryland Council does as well. Our goal is to deliver diverse and relevant education, workforce development to support our community in rural Maryland. And the same with the Rural Maryland Council. Your goal is to bring together groups that can help to do this, state, county, municipal government, and help to meet the needs of Maryland communities. So we are just so thrilled to partner with you on this. I'd just like to take just a few moments and just share a few key projects that the Rural Maryland Council has funded and provide an overview. I just want to make sure my screen is moving. Can you see the new screen that just came up? No. Okay. So you don't see a screen that says supporting and strengthening business and communities? Let me change that. I want to make sure that we have the right presentation. It's great when technology works, and when it doesn't work, that happens sometimes. So can you see my screen now?
As you mentioned, he wants to put an increased emphasis on nonprofit.
Does it show the screen now by chance?
Yes, it does.
Okay, excellent. See, you see the map of Maryland here? Excellent, thank you. So I did share the mission alignment. We are in rural Western Maryland, Mountain Maryland, Allegheny County. Just like to highlight 3 projects at the campus over the last several years. And the first one was from 2019, and it's to strengthen business through advanced manufacturing and welding and the many trades we do in our maker space. So the purpose of the project was to provide additional machining equipment to support the advanced manufacturing program. And with $40,000 that came in, soon after that, a major paper manufacturer, Verso, closed down. Right away, through this equipment, through this investment, we were able to train 70 displaced Verso workers. They received training and multiple credentials to obtain employment. And every single one of those employees is now retrained and meeting the needs of this rural Maryland area. Right away, 6 businesses as part of our application committed to hiring our graduates at level 1 and level 2 CNC machining. Every single one of our graduates has been hired and is now no longer displaced, but in the workforce. Again, a great investment from the Rural Maryland Council to meet the needs of this community in Western Maryland. A second was with COVID that impacted everybody. Workforce development had to change the modality of the way it was offered. We were able to use some new classroom technology through the investment of $20,750 to provide workforce training. We provided 3 flex classrooms to provide training on site, off location in the community where people worked and where they lived. Right away, we provided over 500 hours of virtual education in a variety of workforce areas, both for credit and non-credit. Again, whether it be forestry or allied health, nurse and respiratory therapy, even machining, some of the didactic components of that was offered remotely. And again, through this quick investment through the Maryland Rural Council, we were able to do that. A third project that was just funded this year was for forestry. And I know Dan Ryder, I think, had to leave early, and Dan certainly was a huge advocate for this. Our forestry program is the only one in the state of Maryland recognized by the Maryland Association of Forestry and the state country recognition. $40,000 helped us provide 1 log loader. Our forestry program has a reputation throughout the state and throughout the East Coast as being just the top program you will find. At least 50 students will utilize this new technology over the next 3 years. At least 15 regional businesses have committed that they will hire our graduates as a result of this and providing the training that they need. I hope you can see some of the photos in the screen here. This is just a picture of our Western Maryland Works where our machining takes place. Gail Manchin from ARC came to visit earlier this year. We would first of all extend a welcome to every member here today and others. If you'd like to see what workforce development can be, I think we have a really model program in the state through our makerspace here in Cumberland. We offer the training you need in robotics and workforce development and advanced manufacturing, welding, all in a single location. And again, your investment, the top right picture just shows some of the machining equipment that has helped to do that, to train those who need the training the most. The bottom left shows a picture of one of the virtual smart classrooms, again, to offer virtual remote learning during COVID when people couldn't come together. We couldn't stop. Our businesses, our community needed trained individuals, and we were able to deliver that training that they needed. The bottom right is just a picture of some of our forestry students. Forestry is not necessarily using the chainsaws like it may have been 20 years ago. High technology, as well as the log loader, which will be able to support what they do as well. I think that sometimes, again, pictures show 1,000 are worth 1,000 words. This is the first group of the Verso displaced paper workers receiving all the credentials that they needed to get employment right away. And you see the smiles on these faces. You have some 22-year-olds up through 50-year-olds who suddenly one day they went to work and they were no longer employed. It happened suddenly. And because of this equipment and because of ACM being there, these individuals are trained. They're receiving the same level of salary and they're back in the workforce meeting the needs of our community. And we're just so proud of that as well. I think just a thank you to each of you, to the Maryland Rural Council. Your investment in our area, in the college and job training has just been incredible. And we're very grateful for that. And with that, I think I'm right at 5 minutes. I'd be honored to take any questions anybody has.
Do we have any questions? Hearing none, but I do want to mention one thing. Just I want to call out special recognition to you for working for displaced workers. I was a displaced worker for 10 months and 22 days, not that I was counting, before I came to the Tri-County Council of Southern Maryland as executive director. So I used to tell my sons I was so unpopular, I couldn't get arrested. So the work you're doing with these displaced workers, it's really important and it's life-changing. So I want to recognize you for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, now we're ready for a presentation from Nick Redding, Executive Director of Preservation Maryland.
All right, thank you for having me. Let me get my screen going here. All right, are you seeing that in presentation mode there? Just the presentation. Okay, great.
We are.
Great. So I'm Nick Redding. I'm the President and CEO of Preservation Maryland. We are a 91-year-old organization founded back in 1931. And we do a wide variety of different work. And the Rural Maryland Council has always been very generous and very supportive of our work because we look at preservation as a tool for community development and a tool for building prosperous communities. And one of the things that makes rural Maryland so unique and a place that people are drawn to is the unique character of its historic communities. It's what sets it apart in many ways. And of course, those resources under a tremendous amount of pressure from a variety of different reasons, whether it be disinvestment, whether it be lack of resources, lack of awareness. And we see these issues sort of at play over and over again, all across the state in various communities. So as an organization, the redevelopment of historic places is critical to us and is a priority, particularly in rural areas, because as many of you know, not that urban areas are not without their challenges, but there are CDCs and there are organizations dedicated to that work in those communities. But many of our rural communities, even larger rural communities like a Hagerstown, where I'm going to talk about a project that we worked on, there's really a lack of organizations doing this kind of work. So it's an area that we identified as a priority. We had funding from a national foundation to put together a business plan. And then we came to Rural Maryland Council and said, wouldn't it be great if we had a revolving fund for historic property redevelopment? And we pitched the RMC on this, and we're very fortunate to receive some funding to support an investment. And soon thereafter, we found our first project. And the focus of the fund, which has also, I should say, I mean, and this is an important thing, spurred significant private investment as well. So we've almost tripled the amount of money that the RMC gave us through grants from other foundations that has matched it and kind of built up this pool of revolving fund money. And I should stop just for a second and let you know that a revolving fund, the idea is money goes out for a project and then you figure out a way to divest yourselves of that project, and then the money comes back into the fund. So that you're never losing money and you're able to kind of just keep moving. It also allows you to be really nimble, because in some cases we might be able to get another source of grant funding, or we might be able to apply for something else in the future, or we might be able to sell the building. But we need money in the short term to be able to cover that cost. And that's what the revolving fund provides for. So in Hagerstown, there was a beautiful, and you're seeing some before and afters, but took a lot of vision to see the building on the left there and think that we could do something with it. But it was hit by a police cruiser, was about to be demolished. They ripped off the siding, realized it was a log structure, and they stopped and they said, I wonder if we should save this. We worked with the property owner using the revolving fund. We covered the cost of the purchase. And then using the revolving fund, we started the rehab that then was covered by an additional grant that paid back the revolving fund. So it worked almost perfectly. And in nonprofit work, that rarely happens. So we're pretty excited with how this all came together. What we found in the process, we were able to do an archaeological project here as well, that this was one of the oldest standing structures left in Hagerstown. And it was about to be headed to the landfill. It sits in the Jonathan Street neighborhood, which is one of the most historic African-American neighborhoods in Hagerstown. And that's really the focus of this revolving fund, is rural underrepresented communities, because they take the biggest brunt. And you can look at underrepresented in a lot of different ways. In this case, we were looking at an African-American neighborhood. And so we were, as I mentioned, it's pretty darn old. We did dendrochronology, which is the study of tree rings. And we're able to determine that these logs were felled in the winter of 1739, which makes it likely one of the oldest structures. And there were only 2 log cabins standing in Hagerstown in 1739, and those were Jonathan Hager's. So we, given the community that it sits in, didn't want to make it a museum. It would have been very difficult to make it one, and that wouldn't have paid itself back. So we've turned it into owner-occupied affordable housing. And so we're using historic preservation and the support of the Rural Maryland Council to not only save a historic building that adds character to a community, but addressing a critical need in this neighborhood, in putting someone back in this building and putting it into really highest and best use. Took a heck of a lot of work. We actually had to lift the structure and rebuild the foundation underneath of it. And you're seeing some great before and afters. We covered it, some people may be curious, covered it in siding because it was always sided. It would have been historically sided pretty soon thereafter, and leaving these logs exposed would have basically ruined the building in the long term. And we made some, cost benefit analyses on a lot of this work, given that we wanted to turn it into affordable housing. So we used, instead of true wood siding, which is where a preservationist generally would go, we used a hardy plank siding. So it's a cement board. It looks and feels like wood, but it's much easier to maintain, which we did purposefully so that we wouldn't leave someone with a burden. We found some interior walls that we didn't know were in there and saved them. And this wall you're actually looking at, it has a signature on it from 1859, when the wood was purchased for doing this interior paneling. We added an addition to give it a little bit more space. It's about 1,000 square foot home. And these are before and afters of the same space. So, what this is allowing us to do, and it's about to be hopefully sold pretty soon, is the money that went out will then go right back into the fund, and we'll be able to tackle the next thing. The revolving fund can do direct acquisition, like in this case where we actually bought something, rehabbed it, and we'll be selling it. It gives us the ability to do options where maybe there's a threatened structure that's about to be demolished. We can step in, say, we'll give you $1,000 if you give us a year option, and then we go out and try and find a preservation buyer. It also allows us to do loans. So if we have a property that needs some help, or somebody is willing to buy a property, but can't get conventional financing for some of the rehab work that they can do, we can give a short-term loan to allow them to do some of that and then pay it back into the fund. We also, any of the profit in order to the fund goes back into the fund. So in theory, it begins to grow. It's also invested with our larger pool of investments. And so it's maintaining its value over time as well. It's not just kind of sitting there in a money market or something like that. And so the next project that the fund is going to support is a rehab of a building in Brunswick. So we're moving into Frederick County. And the idea with that, other grant funds will be used eventually, but it'll allow us to get the project done in the short term, and which is exactly how the fund was supposed to work. And the hope there is that it will create a visitor contact station for people coming off the C&O Canal. So really connecting heritage tourism and economic development to, like we were talking about, Indian Head, another community that is really coming into its own with some great local leadership. And I should also mention before I conclude here, we're always looking for new projects. Can't always do everything, but if you do have projects that kind of fit this bill, and you just want to let us know about them, we're always happy to take a look or talk you through how it could potentially work, and looking to deploy this fund for years to come. And the cool thing about what happened here, among many, is that the RMC, through its generosity and sort of innovative approach to grant making, is creating permanent good. because this fund doesn't go away after one project, it keeps recycling. And so we hope that we'll be able to do this work almost in perpetuity all across the state. This first log project is just the first of hopefully many. So thank you so much for inviting us today and giving us a chance to talk. And I'm happy to answer any questions. See, Mindy has a question.
Yeah, I have a question. I wonder, I'm having a hard time understanding the ownership thing. Do you always have to buy it?
No. So we have flexibility in the way we do it. In this case, we bought it because we were sort of the owner of last resort. There was no one else able to do it. That's actually tends to be our least favorite option because it requires the most effort and the most money. But in this case, it was going to be lost regardless. We can do options, we can do loans, we can support others who are doing the work. In the case of the Brunswick property, that will actually be owned by the city of Brunswick, and we'll be helping do the rehab work with them.
So I assume that if it's a private owner, you go the loan route. You're not really granting to private owners.
Right. We don't ever make a grant to a private owner.
Right.
Yeah, and if it was a loan, then there would be a lien or something like that that would make a repayment on the loan.
Right. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Hi, everybody. This is Nan from Senator Van Hollen's office. And I just wanted to give kudos to Nicholas because I was at that grand opening for the log cabin. And I know that that's turning around. There's so much history in Western Maryland that it's projects like these that will turn a neighborhood around and will ignite the historic stories that come out of it. And I just, Nicholas, I don't know if you even know this, but they're going to have a documentary on it.
Yeah, there's going to be a documentary that hopefully is going to be on Amazon and things like that about the little cabin. You're absolutely right. And I appreciate that. And I should say too, we had didn't mention it because we're just talking about the project, but two tremendous local partners, Reggie Turner and Terrence Moore, of the community who got us engaged in it, who made the connections. And so none of this work happens just because of one group or anything like that. Obviously, it took the RMC's investment, it took local partners. And Nan is absolutely right in that it spurs additional catalytic investment. And the community center, which is in the neighborhood, which is really the heart of the neighborhood, as a result of seeing this project, we were able to get Maryland DHCD to make a $500,000 investment in that community center, which is now coupled with another bond bill that they got, which is really going to change that. We also got a broadband, and I know RMC is very much into the broadband world, and we got a broadband grant through DHCD that we actually administered to hook up the community center with broadband, which hopefully will make it a polling center for the community. So Nan's exactly right. These things kind of have a life of their own, and this catalytic investment of a tiny 1,000-square-foot cabin can change the way people think about a neighborhood and a community. So I really do appreciate RMC's support of all this work.
It's a revitalization, and thank you to everybody involved. It was really a nice, it's nice to see, knowing that it was in one of the worst neighborhoods and now they're discovering all this history behind it.
Well, thank you, Nicholas. It's an incredible story to find something that's still that's so, by American standards, ancient, and we're able to reclaim it and save it for the future. I really appreciate the work you did on that.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Thank you, Charlotte.
The next thing on our agenda is a Regional Economic Studies Institute of Towson University. Darius Irani, Chief Economist, and Ellie Gruber, Research Associate. We're going to have like a 5-minute presentation. Charlotte, there's going to be a longer one in the future, but we're going to get a feel for work that they've done for their RMC on our economic development front.
Hi, I'm Allie Cooper and I'm sharing my screen. Can everybody see it?
Yes.
All right.
You may want to switch to full screen. Okay.
All right, so I'm a research associate for the Regional Economic Studies Institute, Towson University. And we completed an economic and fiscal impact report for RMC for the two grants, the RMPIF and the MERDAF, which I don't know what the protocol is on how you say those. So first slide is basically just what RMC is, the mission statement, but I assume that most people in this meeting are already very well versed with this. But basically highlights the predominant role of agriculture in rural Maryland in supporting development in rural counties. So we have the rural region map. We broke down the analysis into these different regions. Obviously not for the gray area in the middle, the urban region. The two grants, RMPIF, or Rural Maryland Prosperity Investment Fund, and the MERDAF, which is the Maryland Agricultural Education and Rural Development Assistance Fund. And these are the two grants that we conducted this analysis on. The first one is for standard of living and development, and the other one is for economic and community development. But both of them seem to have very broad uses. So this screen just shows the number of awarded grants. This is the total from 2018 to 2021. So you can see that the Southern region received the largest amount of RMPIF grants, and Middle Shore received, well, Middle Shore and Lower Shore received the largest amounts of MERDAF grants. And we also included statewide, which were for any grant awarded by RMC that impacted multiple regions. So this is the value of awarded grants. This pretty much just shows only the awarded values. Most of these grants also have matching values. So the beneficiary also put money towards the initiatives. As you can see, the majority of the funds went through RMPIF grants as opposed to the MERDAF grants. And the majority of those RMPIF went to Middle Shore, Southern, and Lower Shore. And again, this is totaled from 2018 through 2021. So to conduct this economic analysis, we used an input-output program called InPlan, which has so much data on just regional economics, fiscal, and otherwise. As you can see, the output, which actually was also GDP, the impact that those grants had were very significant for Middle Shore, but that is also mainly due to one specific grant where it was in 2021, Talbot County Department of Public Works, where the actual funded grant amount was around 500,000. The matched amount was around 45 million. So that is really what boosted the Middle Shore up, way up above the others. And the next category is employment. So it's basically just how many jobs this, this funding supported or would have supported through InPlan's data. And again, following the last slide, the Middle Shore, definitely very up there, 828 jobs. But also significant are the others. Again, the reason why Middle Shore is so much higher is because of that matching amount. This is for employee compensation. So how much money was paid to employees that was spurred because of the grants. So it's also broken up by region. Interestingly, Southern was pretty high up. Yeah, all of them ranging from around 1 to 5 million or so. And again, this is for 2018 through 2021. And this last category here is the fiscal impact. It sums together state and county tax revenues. IMPLAN basically uses the most recent available data reported for Maryland to estimate the fiscal impact of this. So while it is a generalization, it is usually fairly accurate. And as you can see, most revenue was for Middle Shore, again, at around 6 million. And this is also from 2018 to 2021. And that wraps it up. Again, this is just a very brief overview. The full report that we have done for RMC also includes rural Maryland profile section, which details current demographics, current economic, socioeconomic status, and a lot of different data using sources like BLS and census and Maryland workforce, and kind of puts together the different industries and sectors that are most prevalent in the rural regions in Maryland. And it couples that with this economic and fiscal impact report, which details all of the great things that RMC's grants have done for the Maryland economy, specifically the rural Maryland economy. So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. It's a short presentation. Does anybody have any questions? That is a no.
I guess that's a no.
All right, well,
And
thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Here. Yeah.
I'll take a look at the full report, and we will be doing a more detailed 1-hour presentation. Charlotte, what day is that scheduled for?
May 16th. We had 2 times, and we were hoping, for feedback from the board, what they preferred. I think one was noon and one was 2 o'clock. Is that right, Megan? But May 16th.
May 16th, noon, 12 to 1 or 1 to 2. Just put it in the chat what you'd like.
Yeah. Does anybody have any preferences?
Okay. I guess that completes our presentations for right now. The next line item on our agenda is the approval of the January 28th meeting minutes.
So moved. This is Leslie.
Thank you, Leslie.
Second, Chris Castellanos.
Thank you, Chris. Any discussion or corrections in the minutes that anybody noticed? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed or objections? Hearing none. The next thing, we're ready to get down to the board and committee reports. Charlotte, we're going to start off with the budget for FY 2022 and 23. I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, included in the meeting material packets that were sent to the board members. So for fiscal year 2022, we received a little over $6 million in revenue, $6,118,485. Majority of that was expended in funds. We've expended $5,587,110 that were distributed in grants through the 2 grant programs. And then for RMC operating expenses, we've expended $370,000, $428, the majority of which is on staff salaries and benefits. So that leaves us with a balance of $129,571. So in good shape to finish out the rest of the fiscal year.
Do we have a motion to accept the report for the FY22 fiscal statement?
So moved.
Second, Leslie Hart.
Thank you, Leslie. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, now it's time for the really good news on the 2023 budget, Charlotte.
Oh, do I get that pleasure?
Yes, you do.
So thanks to Governor Hogan and the Maryland Legislature and the chairs of Senate Budget and Tax and House Appropriations Committee, we will receive $9,119,629 for our programs. That's an increase of about 50% of $3 million. So we're really thankful to the legislature for allowing us and to the governor for appropriating the funding and the legislature to allow us that the budget has been passed. It is done. So this is final. So for that, you know, the breakdown, and I know Susan O'Neill will talk a little bit more about that breakdown, but you'll see on that report how those funds break down for program areas. So for the RMC operating expenses, we'll receive $750,000. So we have an increase. You'll see, you know, most of the increase I've put towards staff salaries. I would like to hire a 5th contractual person to help us, you know, one with marketing and outreach and making sure we are keeping up on all these projects. And then if there's any questions related to one expense that is coming up for FY 2023 is the payment for our platform software, Foundant, that we utilize to administer the grant program. So that will come up this year in FY 2023. I did also include some funding for the update of the Rural Outlook widget that is on the website. We do that through the Eastern Shore Regional GIS Cooperative at Salisbury University. So they will be doing some update on that. And we included, we will in 2023. Oh gosh, not this year, next year. So in 2023, we will be later this year, we will be supporting the Grow Maryland event, but then next year we will start planning for the Rural Summit. And so you'll see that funding included there. Any questions?
Okay, Charlotte. Before I call for a motion, I do want to recognize that getting these funds was the result of a lot of planning that was done last year at the time of MACO by the executive board and some discussions there, and planning by the planning committee and the joint committee between the foundation and the Rural Maryland Council. And in spite of the fact that I did tap Louis Goldstein's left foot, it really wasn't much luck or superstition at all. It was all hard work on the part of you as board members and of the people that came to Rural Maryland Day and Maryland Day to make sure that the legislators knew of the good work we were doing. And I want to thank all of you for that. And with that, I'll call for a motion to accept the report and the 2023 budget.
I move that we accept it. This is Weta Stoker.
Thank you, Weta. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Susan. Any discussion about the budget for next year? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the budget, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. And with that, now that we have a dramatic increase in funds, I'm going to turn it over to Susan O'Neill.
Thanks, John. Welcome to everybody who's new and old to join with us. So I'll be talking about the Rural Maryland Prosperity Investment Fund. I'm the chair of the committee. Huge shout out to RMC staff and to all the volunteers on the committee. Got together quite a few times to discuss these. So as Charlotte said, we were lucky and blessed to be awarded $9 million in the governor's budget. And how that breaks down is, as she said, there's $750,000 is operating for the Rural Maryland Council. There's $600,000 per Tri-County Council. The RMPIF fund is put aside as $1.5 million for infrastructure, $1.5 million for entrepreneurship, and $1.5 million for health. And then for MERDAF, the Maryland Agriculture Education Rural Development Assistance Fund, there's approximately $751,000 aside for that grant. The grant committee and the executive board approved raising the cap for MERDAF from $40,000 to $45,000. They're also encouraging applications in 5 areas. Those areas are agriculture and forestry, energy, rural broadband, youth engagement and leadership development, and community and economic development. And you can go to the RMC website and get more details about those categories if you need them, or feel free to reach out to us. We also do want to make sure we state that regardless of the focus area, if you choose, you can still put an application in, and the board will, the grant review committee will give it full consideration. That is the breakdown of the funds. I see on here we have important dates. So the grant process will open up on Monday, April 25th. Letter of intent to apply is due by Friday, May 20th. And then grantees will be notified of what phase 1 is, that we're calling it phase 1, Megan and Charlotte. Phase 1 decisions will be notified the week of June 20th. The full applications are due Friday, July 15th. And it's anticipated right now that awards will be announced the week of August 22nd. Other than the awards being announced the week of August 22nd, Charlotte, the rest of the dates are in writing, right? Yeah, okay, are on the calendar.
Yeah, the big one is May 20th. So
Yeah,
you need, if folks that folks that want to apply, they just need to submit a letter of intent by May 20th. That's, after that, you're cut out. You can't, it'll be late, and so May 20th.
As she leans in, May 20th, everybody. So Friday, May 20th, put your letter of intent in and then go to happy hour, and it'll be a good weekend. Some other dates. Oh, a grant information session. They will be doing 5 sessions. One will be a Zoom teleconference, which is scheduled for April 20th at 12 o'clock. Then they'll do 4 in-person sessions to answer any questions you might have regarding the grant process in the different categories. Those sessions are planned for April 22nd in Hughesville, April 26th in Cumberland, April 28th in Cambridge, and May 2nd in Edgewood. And not to bog everybody down with all the details, just reach out to Charlotte or Megan or Amanda or Cody or myself, and we can give you the addresses and location and so forth. I believe, was that everything, Charlotte? Did I get it all?
Yeah, I do need you all to approve the guidelines and criteria.
Okay, do we need to get into more discussion about that, or is that just really the only difference from the previous years was raising the cap from 40,000 to 45,000, and then just was it tweaking the applications of the 5 areas of Merida? Is that correct?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Mr. Chairman, this is Steve McHenry. I'll make a motion to approve the guidelines.
Thank you, Steve. Do I have a second on approving the guidelines?
This is Rita Stoker. I'll second it.
Thank you, Rita. Is there any discussion about the guideline changes? They were fairly minor, but if there's any concern, let us know now. All right, I'm not hearing anything, so I'm going to call for a vote on the guidelines to be approved for the 2023 MERDAF and RMPIF grants. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none. Okay, Charlotte.
Well, John, real quick, can I say something real quick?
Yes.
I should have
ahead.
said this in the beginning, and I apologize, but a true heartfelt thank you to the grant review committee, who basically gives up their lives. And I don't think I truly appreciated it until we met with them to just kind of go over some stuff, but they go through all those applications, you know, and I know Charlotte and her staff go through them and prep them. And then these individuals from different departments, just God bless you. So I want to say thank you very much for doing that and helping us.
Thank you, Susan. And I second what you said. It sounds easy giving money away. No, it's very, very hard. They're tough decisions, long discussions, a lot of effort. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Susan. The next item, if I'm still staying on my schedule here, is Legislative Committee. Lindsay Thompson or Chris, are you here?
Did you want to go to Washington? Sorry.
Sorry to get you off guard there, Lindsay.
Nope, not at all. Just got a full office today, which is nice to be in person with people. So I don't think Chris is with us this afternoon. Chris is still recovering from a car accident that he had a couple of weeks ago. So if you could all keep him and his son in your thoughts, that would be great. At this point, things are pretty much wrapped up from a legislative perspective. As far as RMC priorities go and the budget, you've heard from Charlotte already that we are in a wonderful position. So very thankful to the governor's office and the legislature for that. We have not had our legislative call the last couple of weeks because most things that we had taken positions on were just having their cross-file bill hearings and did not need to discuss position statements on any of those. Dakota and Megan and Amanda have done a wonderful job this year. I think over 80 different position statements were submitted on bills this year. So great job there, really showing the presence of Rural Maryland Council. We also had our Rural Maryland Day event on the 25th on Lawyers Mall. That was very well received. And I personally really like that environment of having it on the mall and outside and kind of catching legislators as they go by. Plus there was blue catfish and grits. So that was really great as well. And so I think that to the extent possible, we'll continue to have that event into the future. We will do a wrap up meeting after the session is over, I believe on the 18th at 2 o'clock. So Monday, April 18th at 2 o'clock, we will have our legislative committee debrief there. If anybody has any specific questions about bills or status, please let us know. But overall, it was a pretty good session for RMC. I will make a plug that obviously elections are coming up. We don't know when, or who's going to be in what district. But when we do figure that out, there's going to be pretty significant turnover in the legislature next year. So once, those primary and general elections are over, just encouraging everyone to make sure that you're reaching out to your legislators, both returning, but especially new, and making sure that you're making them aware of who you are, what your organization does, so that we're not cold calling them during session, right? Better to get in early with those introductions. And that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
I'm not hearing any questions, Lindsay, but I would like to say it was great. Great job you did. There were meetings for a while every Monday, including the holiday meetings, because the legislature really doesn't stop for holidays. And great job of leading the discussion and moving all of our bills along and getting everything done. And it's always impressive, the number of position papers and the amount of information that the Rural Maryland Council provides to our legislators. So you did a great job as co-chair. Sorry to hear about Chris. I hope he's back soon. So
I give most of the credit to the RMC staff. So credit where credit is due. Would not be possible without Charlotte and Cody and Megan and Amanda. They do all the legwork and we've run the meetings.
thank you. All right, there is a bill tracker and position statements. I think they're in the package. Is that correct, Charlotte? So you can see all of the information that we generated. And now moving on to the Agricultural Committee.
Good afternoon, everyone. Matt Defoe, Chair of the Agriculture Committee. Nothing very, well, a few things. Thank you everyone who attended the Maryland Ag Council dinner, the Taste of Agriculture. It was held at Maryland Live this year, last month. Very well attended and a big success at that new venue, and look forward to keep that going on for future years. We will be having a committee meeting on May 6th, where we'll be discussing issues, the top 3 priorities that the committee can be more engaging with throughout the year, especially when it comes to some of the other committees that are out there, including GICA, the Intergovernmental Commission on Agriculture. I don't believe they have a meeting scheduled for in the near future, but we do have a seat on that commission. And also, if anything comes out of the Agriculture Commission as well, I don't think there's any other MDA reps on the call, but that's where we're currently at. And that May 6th meeting will be a Zoom meeting, and we'll send out an invite to all members of the board.
Thank you. Let's see. We do have a very important item coming up here from the Joint Planning and Development Committee regarding the bylaws. I'll turn it over to Mike Tilkey.
Mike had a last minute thing come up. He wasn't able to join us. Do you want me to just do that real quick?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and cover those 2 bylaws, the bylaws. We're not actually voting on them today. We're presenting them today, and they'll be voted on, I guess, at the next full meeting, correct?
Yeah, at the next board meeting.
Okay, go ahead.
So the joint planning met on March 10th, and they're making 4 recommendations for board consideration. One is, and this is following our strategic plan, which is the identification of a permanent funding source for the Rural Maryland Prosperity Investment Fund. Right now, we are general funds, so it's just what's appropriated to us by the governor. And just being cognizant that the budget process changes next year, and that the legislature will be able to add funding and not just take away funding. So that's a big change. So we'll be looking at draft legislation updating the Rural Maryland Prosperity Investment Fund going forward, try to identify that funding source. Next one is broadband. So back in 2018, we co-hosted with USDA Rural Development a rural broadband symposium. So we were suggesting in May of 2023, next year, planning an updated follow-up broadband summit, one to review what we've done and the results of the efforts, including, there's $400 million right now in broadband funding. So folks, I know there was an application out on the street from the Office of Statewide Broadband. We helped set up that funding, that funding and that program of the Office of Statewide Broadband. But then looking at the needs going forward, so folks in rural municipalities, small towns are having trouble, gonna have trouble accessing this broadband funding because you're already served. You already have service in some of these areas. They're old, but they're old legacy systems that are still pretty unreliable. So that is still a challenge that we're trying to grapple with. And then I know Jinhee Kim is on the line regarding to adoptability, getting seniors to adopt it, but then getting people, disadvantaged individuals and families that may not utilize the internet to utilize it better. And then affordability. Once the subsidy for it's not called the emergency broadband benefit, but the monthly subsidy is only good for 1 year. So once that funding runs out, there is no mechanism for additional funding. So how are we going to help in the future keep those costs down so that people can afford the monthly service for broadband? But anyway, so that forum to be planned in 2023. And then there's 2 bylaws changes. One is to reconvene the health committee. So it was previously called the Health Care Committee. We would like to reconvene it and rename it. And this is a standing committee that is in the bylaws. So we would need to change the bylaws to make this change. And the idea was healthcare implies service delivery, and health is a bigger issue. There's population health information. Hey, Megan, there's a bad link in the chat, but so renaming it health so that we focus more on a broader topic. And then it was noted that the nominating committee under the strategic plan has been charged with membership recruitment. So just recommending renaming the nominating committee to reflect that new activity. So we did include in the board packet materials just those changes in the bylaws, but we wouldn't vote on them here today, just for you all to review and to approve at the next meeting. And then finally, they are recommending, which is also included in the board materials, that this fall we convene a series of rural roundtables looking at non-emergency rural health transportation. We're finding more, and this is an issue even in the big counties with the paratransit funding for elderly and disabled. There's just isn't enough funding. And we're trying to we do see, particularly in the health area, where we see reduced readmissions and reduced cost savings associated with getting people to their follow-up appointments, getting them the prescription drugs they may need, getting them to the services that they require. And so those were the recommendations coming out of the Joint Planning and Development Committee.
Any questions for Charlotte regarding these changes? Hearing none. Did Dan was Dan able to come back, or is she for the Rural Maryland Foundation? I know he ran off to do a job interview, not his job interview, to interview someone for a job.
I can give his report.
to go ahead and give his
Okay,
report.
so the foundation has been pretty active. We met recently. The foundation recently adopted a strategic plan of its own, mainly looking at the idea of creating a think tank, generating ideas that are going to require more research, and then potentially funding small mini grants that would help facilitate and do that research. And then finally, we've been doing this for a while, the transfer of wealth efforts, looking at how to build and retain wealth in the rural areas. We hosted a follow-up webinar, and then we'll be doing another one. We have a doodle out, right, Megan, for that one. But for folks that are interested, you're welcome to join us on that one. Looking at, how we can encourage people to donate, to give, and to invest in their rural communities.
Any questions on that? The strategic plan was completely done, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
So now both the Rural Maryland Foundation and the Rural Maryland Council have plans, and we are reviewing and executing the plans so that we are actually moving both organizations forward into the future fairly quickly and with some agility. Now we're ready for an executive director's report from you, Charlotte.
Okay, so included in the board materials, as always, is the activity reports of the staff. I do want to give a shout out to Megan, Cody, and Amanda for doing the bulk of the work here and getting things done. We've been, I think Lindsay mentioned the events that we've been coordinating, mainly Maryland Day, March 25th, that we hosted on Lawyers Mall, and then Rural Maryland Day, February 10th, which is the Advocacy Day. Hoping to get back in person next year for that one. That's always a popular event, folks. It's always that second Thursday in February, and then Maryland Day is March 25th, but next year it's a Saturday. So we'll probably be doing it, I guess, on March 24th, the Friday. And then we are going to be shifting into grants mode. So if folks know of organizations that need help, need assistance, need funding, if they can't make those information sessions, we're always willing to meet with them, either in person, on Zoom, telephone, however people need help. And please let them know. We'll be doing expanded outreach this year. We're planning some media pieces and some enhanced social media presence on these to try to get the word out to organizations that may not know that these resources are available. So just really trying to get the word out to folks that this is available, and then to encourage them to apply. And if they need any technical assistance, we will help them through that process. I don't want to jump ahead of the new business, and then we'll see on the announcements and the agenda, there's a number of events coming up. Like to always mention TAWS that's coming up September 28th. It's a different time this year. Usually it's in July, the hottest day of the year. Not going to be the hottest day of the year, so mark your calendars. Folks want to go attend that, please. We will have tickets available. If you need transportation, we have a bus that leaves Annapolis and goes to Chrisfield. So if you can get to Annapolis, we're happy to give you a ride. And if you're from Western Maryland, you can ride with me. So it's always fun. It's an election year, so it should be a good turnout of the primary candidate, of the nominees. So would strongly recommend that one.
I'm pretty sure, Charlotte, if the 28th of September is the hottest day of the year, that'll be a record.
Well, it might be, you never know. And then I didn't
I was gonna say, it is Maryland, guys. You don't know, have any clue what could happen.
And then I did want to mention the fiscal year 2023 work plan. So we do put together a work plan for the group. And then I think I mentioned all the changes, the broadband, the health resurrection. We are working on convening a rural housing committee. So if you're interested in joining either the rural housing committee or the health committee or any of the other ones, the legislative committee is very popular as well. You're always welcome to, if folks are interested in participating, they're welcome to join us. And that's my report.
So are there any other announcements that,
I have two, there's two items under new business.
okay,
There's the business roundtable. So today I had
Yes.
reached out to the CEO of the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond. They were interested to talk to us. He was unfortunately unavailable today, but he was willing to do a virtual kind of lunch and learn roundtable for us specifically. The Federal Reserve Bank has decided they wanted to focus on small and rural communities. So June 1st, noon, we will conduct that. Please join us if you want to be a part of that. We found the Federal Reserve to be fairly responsive to issues that we bring up to them. So it could be a really informative meeting. So please plan to join us on that. And then
have you set a time? You have not set a
it's
time.
at noon. It's
It
at
is at
that one's
noon?
at noon. Yep.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to make a note of that.
Then the next one is the Resi economic analysis. So you heard just a little bit about, that analysis, and then this follow-up would be to really get into those numbers and really look at those a little bit closer so we can get a good idea of, how the impact that we're having and how we can always improve. Oh, and I forgot to mention, we'll be doing an effort on membership recruitment. So in the materials were some prospective ads that would, so if you see stuff in publications that we'll be making an effort to do some recruitment over the summer.
Any other new business from anybody? I'm not hearing anything. You have a list of announcements here. You mentioned one of them, Charlotte, or one of these dates. Are there any other announcements for other dates that we maybe should put on our calendar?
I should mention, I forgot the National Folk Festival. That should have been on there. It's in September. And if folks, we sponsor these events, so if folks want to attend, it's possible a lot of times we have tickets available. So if you want to attend, just let us know.
And I just want to mention one more time, we've said it several times, but here in Southern Maryland on April 22nd is when we're going to have the in-person meeting for getting instruction for the RMPIF and MERDEF grants. If we overflow from the Tri-County Council's conference room, we'll have it at the SMECO building next door, which will hold up to 75 people. But our plan is to have it at either one or the other two of our buildings right here in Newsville. And anything else?
I don't know, did any of our federal
Yes, there.
representatives want to? Melissa, Dan?
Hey, Charlotte, this is Tony. I don't know if you guys can hear.
Yep, we can hear you.
When you talked about recruitment, what kind of people are you looking for recruitment to what organizations so we can keep our ears and promote that effort when the opportunity is there?
We're looking to engage folks that are interested in those committee structure or just coming to be, if they want to become more involved in the organization. Basically anybody that's interested in rural communities is what I would say.
Okay. So sort of joining the RMC and contributing to it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Charlotte, it's Nan. Just want to thank you guys for a really great meeting. And just want to let everybody on the call to connect to me or Melissa with Senator Van Hollen's office if you're ever in need of a letter or anything that our office can do for you. And again, thanks for everything that you've done. And I have to be kind of selfish here, especially in the Western region. We love you and we support you wholeheartedly. And I'm sure Melissa can say the same thing. Of
Thank
course
you.
I can.
So any other people? Do we have any other state people that have anything they want to get in here at the last minute?
I think they're all on the floor.
Okay.
Alice looks
Yeah. Hi, I would like to let you all know that I'm a member now of the Frederick County Small Business Advisory Commission, and it's chaired by Rick Weldon. So I think what we're working on, we just had our first meeting, and what we're working on is just trying to help small businesses with issues. We don't want to be a complaint board, but we want to help solve the issues, whatever they might have. So if anybody's in Frederick County, just wanted to let you know about that. Okay.
Alice, I am, and we can connect offline. This is Nan from Senator Van Hollen's office. So I would love to connect to that agency. I know Rick Weldon really well. So
Correct.
We'll do it offline.
Okay, thank you, Nan.
Thanks.
Any other discussions or announcements before I call for an adjournment? Hearing none, I guess I'm ready for a motion to adjourn.
This is
So moved.
Rita Stoker. I move that we adjourn.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you. And Kurt, you have a great afternoon.
I'm jealous.
Enjoy
of
some of the
Chris's background.
sunshine.
Chris Castellim is here. Where are you? You're on the water somewhere.
I'm home. I'm actually off today.
Wow.
Well, I think I'm going to try out and catch a little bit of sunshine before any clouds move in. So all in favor of adjournment, say aye and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you,
You
everybody.
have a great day.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Everybody have a good day.
Keep Bill. Now we know who isn't sitting at their computer. Or they were doing something else.
All right. Good meeting today.
It was a great meeting. I was listening, but I was just.
Oh, and Darlene, I was like, oh, we should have had you talk. You should have said something. You have a great project. We'll get you next time, Darlene.